Ultimately, Pokemon's strongest root is series creator Satoshi Tajiri's childhood love of bug collecting. It's common in Japan for core insects such as rhinoceros beetles to then face off against each other in order to determine whose owner has found and indeed trained the best pocketable creature. This, mixed with the advent of the Game Boy link cable, created a perfect technological storm for Tajiri to recapture and commercially streamline the communal joys of his youth. There are, however, quite a few games that share similar themes or gameplay mechanics, and yet predate Pokémon Green and Red's releases in February 1996. We're not saying they were ripped off, just that the genre already had a few straggling foundations by the time Pokémon was published. Let's look at 5 stubbornly precursory creative matches. Number 5.
They are all around us. Millions of Barcode warriors and wizards waiting to fight.
So, imagine the idyllic beauty of exploring a Japanese forest for new insects to add to your collection. Now, strip that down to its bare minimum, add in some Orwellian nightmare, and you've got Barcode Battler, first released in 1991.
Barcode Battler.
Go anywhere where goods are sold or disposed of, and scan as many barcodes as you can find. It's like Pokémon, but if it were made by a team of robots who don't have any time for any of that stupid warmth. The fantastical really picks up once you've scanned a barcode. Instantly it creates a set of numbers on the screen of the Barcode Battler portable console. That's your creature's hit points, attacking power, and all that good stuff. It's up to you to imagine how they look or behave, because that's all there is to the game, just a bunch of numbers. The real fun of Barcode Battler is playing it with friends, while you're in the liquor aisle of the supermarket, peeling off a barcode for your champion ogre. Your friend could have found his prize warlock on a bleach bottle. The best battler finds were stuck onto easily scannable pieces of card, to be carried around on your person for whenever a ruck's in order. The exchange is then pretty much identical to a Pokémon link cable battle, except of course, as we say, no visuals, just numbers, and it takes 4 AA batteries that die about as quickly as they would in a Game Gear, so don't get settled in. The system had its greatest success in Japan, where the game was so popular that segments in TV variety shows were dedicated to barcode battling. In Europe and America, sales were much slower, ultimately meaning Barcode Battler is remembered in the West as a significant flop. However, the Japanese market allowed for 2 highly successful incarnations of the system, the second of which could be plugged into your home consoles such as the NES and SNES, where actual visual representations of your creatures would manifest. Luxury. Number 4. The first game in the Megami Tensei series was Digital Devil's Story, released in 1987. It established the series' most enduring plot point. A computer program has been developed that can summon demons. The demons have settled into their new earthly digs, and now a hero is needed to readdress the balance. In order to complete Digital Devil's Story, you have to best Loki, Set, and Lucifer himself. So, pretty edgy stuff. The game certainly isn't targeted at the same age group as Pokémon, but the similarities are still too apparent to be ignored. The demons that you fight can also be tamed, added to your party, and will fight by your side, just like a Ghastly or a Haunter, except not shit. This system was expanded in Megami Tensei 2 and its SNES remake Shin Megami Tensei. The game's developer Atlus focused on the in-battle talking system, greatly improving the forms of persuasion and bribery the player could resort to in order to add to their collection of friendly demons. So pioneering was the gameplay mechanic that game developer Toby Fox cites it as a direct influence for his Undertale. But that's a side note. The Pokémon similarities don't end there. In the Megami Tensei series, you can also take your collected demons to centers called Cathedrals of Shadows and fuse them together to make new demons. Some can only be collected this way, making it pretty similar to having to evolve certain Pokémon to complete your Pokédex. It's kind of understandable then why Atlus felt justified in releasing their own Pokémon rip-off series in 2000, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children. Like Pokémon, the games are released in coloured pairs, starting with Red Book and Black Book, and have been intensely cutesified to appeal to a younger audience. Also, the player's captured demons exclusively do the fighting. It's a shameless clone, but then why not clone a potential clone of your own clone's predecessor? Clone. Number 3. Dragon Quest V was released in Japan in 1992. An English language version of the game wasn't released until 2009 on the Nintendo DS, and so Pokémon, at least in the West, has squeakily escaped comparison to Dragon Quest V. However, the fact is that Dragon Quest V was released 4 years before Pokémon and allowed players to tame 40 different monster species, use them in battle, and level them up, just like any other playable character. Those 40 playable monsters pretty much filled the SNES cartridge up to its capacity. When the Japanese exclusive PS2 remake came out in 2004, those data restrictions were gone, and so, finally, the friendly monster count rose to 71, roughly half of the original Pokédex. Not that it matters. Much like the Megami Tensei series, Dragon Quest V ended up launching a spin-off Ultra Pokémonny franchise in 1998 called Dragon Quest Monsters. It follows the same kind of formula. Kidify the characters, make the monsters even more central to the plot, shovel it out on a handheld, and see if loyalists and preteens will bite. They did. The Monsters franchise has sold millions of units, predominantly in Japan, and has increasingly attracted a critical appreciation. Number 2. Robo Trek was developed by Quintet, the same people behind ActRaiser, Soul Blazer, Terranigma, and Illusion of Gaia, and published by Enix in 1994. You take control of a young inventor, gunning for some evil pirates who call themselves hackers, and their team of robots. You decide to fight fire with fire, creating 3 of your own mechanical ass kickers to fight the good fight for you. They're highly customizable to the player, meaning you do develop a unique personal attachment to your creations, but a 3-robot team is truly the limit, meaning the game doesn't really have the collectability appeal that Pokémon does, or for that matter, any kind of multiplayer, which, in Pokémon's saturated retrospect, could really have added some commercial value. Just like Pokémon though, you summon otherworldly followers to exclusively fight battles for you, and it really wouldn't be shocking to us to find out that the Pokéball design was directly lifted from Robo Trek. It's quite an extraordinary coincidence. The overall Robo Trek experience is like a cross between Earthbound and Pokémon. It feels like Quintet was so close to capturing lightning in a bottle, and yet sales figures show how far away they ended up. In Japan, where it's known as Slapstick, it sold 45,000 units. In the US, sales are even worse, totaling around 21,000. Number 1.
もういいぞカメラを止めどうじゃ なんだこりゃ
It's hardly surprising Linda Cube never made out of Japan. The extraordinarily niche character of the game really comes out in the cutscenes. They're animations from the curious mind of Tatsuyuki Tanaka, aka Cannabis, who is an important contributor to the seminal anime Akira. If you just haven't found enough weird Japanese stuff where things burst out of people, you can add this to your database. Also, there's a doctor who's quite clearly moonlighting as the leader of the Third Reich. Anyway, none of that sounds very Pokémon-y, does it? The meat of the game is that an asteroid is heading to your planet. When it collides in 8 years, all life will be destroyed. However, a space ark has also appeared, and the main character, Ken, as well as his lady friend, Linda, have been tasked to incapacitate 2 of every animal and bring them back to the vessel. Strangely, Linda appears to get the job solely on her ability to fill out a bikini. There's around 120 animals to collect, and to have a full set you need to capture a male and female of each. There aren't any Pokeballs or anything like that. You simply have to batter an animal and then capture is automatic. At the beginning of the game, animals can be taken down without a second thought. As your strength increases, it's a careful balance how many times you hit weak animals, as they'll simply die before capture. So in that respect, there's a certain fiddliness in the game that's pretty similar to the frustration experience when trying to catch frail Pokémon. Expanding on her skill set, Linda develops an ability to train certain captured animals to fight in battle. When animals are badly injured, they can be taken to veterinary clinics in towns to be healed up, operating much like Pokémon centers, although no Nurse Joy. And if there was, we're sure it would be much bleaker.
幸子でどうだ
The game ends when you've either reached your animal quota so the arc can take off, or when the meteor finally crashes down, which kind of reminds us of the time limit in Pikmin. But there's more to it than Pikmin, and there's more to it than Pokémon. There's so much weirdness. There's Hitler MD, there are large men gestating women in their pectorals. There's a mystical purple concoction that makes you sprout tentacles. It's kind of a travesty this game didn't reach a broader audience. Maybe some rebranding would help.
眠り続けている私の可愛い幸子のことをね
Did you enjoy that? Let us know in the comments section. And please, like and subscribe if you want more.